The pool at midnight. It was almost midnight when Leo, a tired janitor in his late 20s, arrived at the luxury fitness center on the edge of the city. The place was quiet, too quiet. The main lights were off, and the building looked empty. Leo yawned, dragging his mop bucket behind him. This was his third job of the day. He had no idea this night would change his life forever. Leo had been called in for an emergency shift. The regular night cleaner was sick. The manager told him, just clean the pool area. In and out. Shouldn't take more than an hour. Easy job, Leo thought. But when he walked into the pool area, something felt wrong. The air was heavy, almost electric. The large pool in the center of the room was glowing with a soft blue light. The lights weren't normal. They looked like they were coming from the water itself. Leo froze at the door. The water rippled, even though there was no wind. A strange mist floated just above the surface. The smell of chlorine was mixed with something else. Something sweet and metallic. He stepped in slowly. His shoes squeaked on the wet tiles. He looked around. Everything seemed still, too still. Then he heard it. Voices. Soft, whispering voices, in a language he couldn't understand. The sound echoed off the walls. It was coming from the pool. Leo walked closer, confused and nervous. As he reached the edge of the pool, he dropped his mop. 3 figures were in the water. They weren't swimming. They were standing, chest deep, in the center of the pool. Their skin shimmered in the blue light. They had no hair, and their eyes glowed faintly. Each of them wore a silver robe that floated around them like silk. They looked alien. Before Leo could react, one of them raised a hand and spoke in perfect English. "You're late," the alien said calmly. Leo's heart almost stopped. What are you talking about?" he stammered. The alien tilted its head. "You were supposed to bring the signal. We have been waiting." Leo backed up. "I think you have the wrong guy." Another alien stepped forward. Its voice was deeper. "You are Leo, janitor, Earthborn. Time marker Zeta-04. You are not late by accident." Leo turned to run, but the doors behind him had closed by themselves. Locked. His heart pounded. He looked back at the 3 beings in the water. They didn't move, but their eyes followed him. "What do you want from me?" Leo asked, his voice shaking. The third alien spoke. Its voice was soft, almost kind. "We do not want anything. We are here for your awakening." Leo shook his head. "This is crazy. I'm just a janitor. I clean floors. I don't know anything about signals or awakenings." Then it happened. The water began to glow brighter. The pool hummed. Leo felt a sharp pain in his head, like a lightning bolt behind his eyes. He screamed and fell to his knees. Suddenly, images flashed in his mind. Stars, planets, battles, and strange symbols. He saw himself standing on a metal platform surrounded by other beings. He was wearing a suit, not for swimming, but for space, and he was holding a glowing cube. Then, everything went black. Leo opened his eyes. He was lying on the cold tiles. The pool was calm again. The water was no longer glowing. The aliens were gone. He looked around in panic. The mop bucket was tipped over. His phone was on the floor, screen cracked. He grabbed it, still shaking. There was a new message on the screen. "Awaken protocol. Step 1 complete." Leo stood up slowly. His head still hurt. He rushed to the exit. This time, the doors opened without resistance. He ran outside into the night, heart racing. The air felt different now. Every sound, every light, sharper than before. He touched his forehead. His skin was warm, almost hot. "What just happened to me?" he whispered. Far above him, in the dark sky, a single light blinked. It was not a star. It moved too fast. Leo didn't notice. He walked away, still shaking, not knowing that his life had just changed forever. The alien attitude. Leo couldn't sleep that night. He tossed and turned in his small apartment, eyes wide open, heart still racing. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't forget the strange beings in the pool, or the glowing water, or the way one of them had said, "You're late." His phone was still cracked, but the strange message hadn't disappeared. Awaken protocol. Step 1 complete. What did that even mean? Leo was just a janitor. He wasn't part of any protocol. He had never even left the country, let alone the planet. The only space he knew was the one between his couch and TV. But deep down, something had changed. His senses felt sharper. His dreams were no longer normal. When he closed his eyes, he saw stars, machines, and faces he didn't recognize, but somehow knew. He saw himself in places that didn't exist on Earth. He even heard whispers in his mind, like a language he had never learned but somehow understood. By morning, Leo felt like a stranger in his own body. Still, he tried to act normal. He put on his uniform and left for work. Maybe it had been a dream. Maybe he was just tired. Maybe he needed sleep or a strong coffee. But when he reached the fitness center again, everything was different. The building was surrounded by black vans. A group of men in dark suits stood near the entrance. They wore sunglasses, even though it was cloudy, and carried strange equipment. Leo slowed down and tried to walk past them. One of the men stepped in front of him. "This area is closed. Restricted access." "I work here," Leo said, showing his ID badge. The man didn't even look at it. "Turn around." Leo stepped back, confused. Something was wrong. Why was the pool closed? Who were these people? He didn't ask questions. He just left. But instead of going home, Leo walked to the small coffee shop across the street. He sat by the window and stared at the building. Something told him the answers were in there, but how would he get in? He was still thinking when a woman sat down at his table without asking. She was tall, with dark hair tied back, and eyes that seemed to shine faintly. She wore a gray jacket, boots, and gloves, even though it wasn't cold. Her presence felt different. Leo blinked. "Do I know you?" She smiled slightly. "Not yet, but you will." Leo leaned back. "Okay, weird. Are you one of those government agents?" "No," she said calmly. "I'm not from your government." Leo stared at her. "What are you from, then?" She looked out the window. "I'm from where they came from. The ones in the pool." Leo froze. She turned back to him. "You really don't remember anything, do you?" "I don't know what you're talking about," he said, but his voice was weak. The woman reached into her jacket and pulled out a small metal device. It looked like a pen but glowed faintly at the tip. She tapped it once on the table. A small image appeared in the air, a hologram. It showed Leo standing with one of the aliens from the pool. They were shaking hands on a platform in space. Leo's mouth dropped open. "That's fake," he whispered. "It's not," she replied. "Your name is Leo, but not just Leo. You are designated L30, Human Liaison, Galactic Zone 9. You were trained as a messenger, a bridge between species." Leo shook his head. "No, I clean floors. I take out trash. You used to, but your real self was buried. Your memory was sealed after the last mission." "Why?" he asked. "To protect you," she said. "You carried something powerful. The signal." Leo's head began to ache again. More flashes. Running, escaping, hiding something in a metal box, diving into a beam of light. The woman stood. "They didn't just appear last night. They came for you. They've been watching. Now others will come too, and not all of them are friendly." Leo looked up at her. "Who are you?" She hesitated. "My name is Naira. I used to work with you. Now I'm here to help you remember, before it's too late." Before Leo could speak again, the coffee shop lights flickered. The radio behind the counter went silent. Outside, a loud humming noise filled the air. People looked around, confused. Naira stood suddenly alert. "They're here." Leo stood too. "Who?" Naira didn't answer. She pulled out another device and pressed a button. A small shield surrounded them for a second. Then she said something that made Leo's blood run cold. "You need to go back to the pool. Tonight. If you don't, Earth won't survive what's coming." Leo stared at her, and for the first time, he believed every word. Hidden past. The day passed slowly for Leo. After Naira's warning in the coffee shop, he couldn't stop shaking. Her words repeated in his head like a broken song. "You need to go back to the pool. Tonight. If you don't, Earth won't survive what's coming." But why him? Leo was just a janitor, or at least, he thought he was. The flashes in his head, the glowing eyes of those aliens, the strange message on his phone, it all pointed to one terrifying truth. He had lived another life, a life he couldn't remember. Now it was coming back. Back at his apartment, Leo sat in silence. He didn't even turn on the TV. The only sound was the ticking of the old wall clock. Tick, tick, tick. Like a countdown he didn't understand. Finally, he opened the box under his bed. It was filled with things he didn't use anymore. Old clothes, letters, broken tools. But something strange caught his eye. A small metal key with glowing lines on its surface. He didn't remember putting it there. Leo picked it up slowly. The key felt warm, almost alive. The moment his fingers touched it, another flash hit him like a wave. He was standing on a spaceship bridge. Giant windows showed stars passing by. He turned and saw Naira, younger, smiling. She handed him the same glowing key and whispered, "If anything goes wrong, hide it. On Earth." Then everything went dark again. Leo gasped and dropped the key. It landed with a soft clink on the floor. He grabbed his phone and called the one person he trusted, his childhood friend, Max, who now worked as a freelance tech repair guy. "Max, I need you to come over. It's urgent." 20 minutes later, Max stood in Leo's apartment, looking confused. "Dude, you look like you haven't slept in a week. I need you to check this," Leo said, handing over the cracked phone. "There's a message I didn't put there. It's not from any app." Max stared at the screen. "Awaken protocol. Step 1 complete." "What is this, some kind of game?" "No, it's real. I think someone messed with my memories." Max laughed. "Bro, are you high?" Leo didn't smile. "I'm serious, Max. I saw something. I think I was someone else, somewhere else." Max raised an eyebrow. "Like a past life?" "No," Leo said quietly. "Like a secret life. In space." Max looked at him like he'd gone insane. "You mean like Star Wars?" "I'm not joking," Leo said, holding out the glowing key. This is real. And it's not from Earth." Max's smile faded. The key's lights moved slowly across its surface. Max touched it, and his fingers recoiled as if it burned him. "Okay, what the hell is this?" Leo didn't answer. He was staring at the wall. No, through it. More memories came. Flashes. He saw a giant gate, floating in space, made of silver rings spinning slowly. He heard alien voices calling his name. He saw himself putting the glowing key into a machine, and then everything exploded in fire and light. Leo clutched his head and fell to his knees. Max rushed over. "Leo, what's happening?" Leo's eyes turned glassy. I remember hiding the key. I remember running. I remember Naira yelling at me to jump. Then I woke up on Earth." Max stepped back, now scared. "Man, you need help." Leo stood up slowly, breathing hard. "I need to go back to the pool tonight. There's something in the water. It's not just a pool. It's a portal." Max didn't speak for a long time. Then, surprisingly, he nodded. "Okay, I'll come with you." Leo blinked. "You believe me?" Max sighed. "I don't know what I believe, but something weird is going on. That key, the stuff you're saying. I can't explain it, but I'm in." Later that night, they parked a block away from the fitness center. All the government-looking vans were gone. The lights were back on. The place looked normal again, but Leo knew better. They sneaked around to the back door, where Leo used to enter for cleaning shifts. He still had the old access code. Beep, click. The door opened. Inside, the building was silent. As they walked down the hallway toward the pool, Leo's heart pounded. The key in his pocket pulsed with light. They reached the glass door to the pool area. Leo pushed it open. The pool was glowing again. This time, the three aliens were not alone. Naira stood on the edge of the pool, her back turned to Leo. She turned slowly as he entered, her face serious. "You found the key," she said. Leo nodded. "And some memories." The tallest alien stepped forward. Its voice was deep. "Then you are ready." Max looked between them. Ready for what?" Leo turned to him. "To remember who I really am, the secret within." The room was silent, except for the soft humming of the glowing pool. Leo stood frozen near the edge, his hand still in his jacket pocket, fingers curled tightly around the glowing alien key. Max stood behind him, breathing heavily, eyes darting from the pool to the creatures inside it. Naira took a step forward. Her eyes, usually calm, were now serious. "It's time," she said softly. "Put the key into the water." Leo hesitated. "What will happen?" One of the aliens answered in a low, echoing voice. "The truth. You will remember your origin and your mission." Leo looked down at the key. Its glow had turned from soft blue to burning gold. It pulsed with heat, as if alive, almost as if it was waiting. He stepped forward and slowly lowered his hand toward the glowing surface of the pool. The moment the key touched the water, the entire room changed. A blast of light erupted from the pool, blinding white and warm like sunlight. Max stumbled back, shielding his face. The aliens didn't move. They stood calmly in the center of the water, eyes closed, as if absorbing the energy. Leo was no longer in the room. He stood on a silver platform, floating in space. Stars surrounded him on all sides. Strange ships passed in the distance, and massive structures hung in orbit like floating cities. In front of him stood a tall, regal-looking alien with skin like crystal and eyes like liquid metal. "All-30," the alien said, bowing slightly. "Welcome back." Leo tried to speak, but no words came out. His body moved on its own, like a recording being played. "You must take the key," the alien said. "The signal must survive. Hide it where they cannot find it." Leo reached forward and accepted the glowing key from the alien's hands. Then Naira appeared beside him, her younger version. Her voice echoed across the stars. "If anything happens, if they find us, jump. Save yourself. You are our only chance." Then came the explosion. Flashes of battle. Ships on fire. Alarms blaring. Leo ran down metal halls, carrying the key, chased by shadow-like creatures. He jumped into a glowing pod, set coordinates for Earth, and hit a red button marked Memo Oroi Wipe. The vision shattered. Leo gasped and fell backward onto the tiles. Max ran to him. "Leo, are you okay?" Leo sat up slowly. His face was pale, and his eyes were wide with shock. But this time, there was clarity in them. He remembered. "I was part of a mission," he whispered. "I worked for something called the United Galactic Alliance. My job was to carry the signal across worlds and keep it safe." He looked at the key in his hand. "This is the signal." Naira nodded. "The signal is not just data. It's an ancient frequency, a map, a message, and a power source. Whoever controls it, controls the gates between galaxies. Max's jaw dropped. Are you saying that Key can open portals? Not just portals, said the tallest alien, his voice calm. It can awaken entire civilizations, restore knowledge lost for thousands of years. Leo stood up slowly, still holding the key. And that's why they're coming for it. Naira's face darkened. Yes, the others, the ones chasing us. They call themselves the Null Order. They destroy knowledge. They erase history. They want to use the signal to shut the galaxy down, planet by planet. Max frowned. But why wipe out knowledge? Because knowledge brings freedom, Naira said quietly. And they want control. Leo looked at the glowing water. So, what now? The smallest alien stepped forward. Now you must complete the awakening. Activate the portal. Only then will the others know that the signal still lives. Max raised his hand nervously. And what happens if he activates it? The alien replied without blinking. It will send a beacon through the stars. Allies will come. But so will enemies. Leo looked at Max. Then Naira. Then the key. He took a deep breath and stepped into the pool. The water didn't feel wet. It felt like stepping through warm air. The glowing energy wrapped around him, not burning, but welcoming, like it remembered him. In the center of the pool was a silver pedestal. A perfect slot waited at its top, shaped exactly like the key in Leo's hand. He slid the key into it. Nothing happened. Then, everything happened. The water exploded upward in a tower of light. The walls of the pool room dissolved, revealing a swirling vortex above them, a window to space. They could see stars, planets, even other ships flying far away. A beam of gold light shot into the sky. Far above Earth, in the darkness of space, something stirred. A giant ship, black and shaped like a dagger, opened its eyes. Red lights blinked awake across its surface. It turned slowly toward the source of the light. Inside, a voice growled in a language unknown to Earth. The signal has awakened. The traitor has returned. Prepare to descend. Back at the pool, the light faded. Leo stepped out, soaked in energy, eyes glowing faintly like the aliens. Naira stared at him. You've done it. The galaxy knows. Help is coming. But her smile faded. So are they. The pool portal. The air still shimmered with golden light as Leo stepped out of the glowing pool. His clothes were soaked, but not with water, with something else. Energy. It pulsed around him like an invisible armor. His heartbeat matched its rhythm. It didn't feel strange anymore. It felt right. Max stood back, stunned. Leo, your eyes. Leo looked in the reflection of a nearby glass panel. His eyes, once dull brown, now glowed faintly blue-gold, swirling like stars. The transformation was real. He was no longer just a janitor. He was something more. Something remembered. Naira stepped beside him. You activated the beacon. The galaxy knows the signal is alive. Leo turned toward her. And now, they're coming. She nodded. A deep hum echoed in the distance, low and growing louder. Max looked toward the ceiling. What is that? One of the aliens turned its glowing eyes to the sky. It has begun. Above Earth, a rip appeared in the blackness of space, like someone had torn the sky open. From it, a dark ship emerged. Huge. Silent. Its surface shimmered like glass and smoke. It didn't move fast. It moved with purpose. The Null Order had arrived. Inside the ship, dark creatures stirred. They wore no suits, no helmets. Their skin looked like black oil wrapped in armor. Their voices sounded like whispers in a cave, all speaking the same word. Signal. They launched pods, long, sharp, like spears, straight toward Earth. Destination. The pool. Back at the facility. Lights flickered as the first tremor hit. The building shook. Tiles cracked. The pool's water glowed brighter than ever. Max stumbled back. earthquake. Naira didn't flinch. No, they've broken through. Their landing pods have hit ground. She turned to Leo. You have to finish it. Leo blinked. Finish what? The portal, she said. It's not just a message. It's a door. You must open it fully. Leo stepped back toward the pedestal in the pool. The key was still inside, humming with light. How do I open it? He asked. You already have, said the alien in the center of the pool. Now you must enter. What do you mean enter? Max shouted from the edge. Naira's voice turned soft. The portal is alive, Leo. It responds to you. You are its gatekeeper. Leo looked down. The water beneath him had turned into a swirling whirlpool of light. He reached out his hand, and the whirlpool pulled him in. Max screamed, Leo. But Leo didn't fall. He floated. He was in a new place. A glowing tunnel stretched around him. Stars moved past like streaks of light. His feet didn't touch anything, but he wasn't falling either. He was flying. In the distance, a giant gate stood in space, a circle of energy rotating in silence. Around it, pieces of old satellites and ruined ships floated like forgotten bones. Then, a voice echoed around him. L30. Welcome back to the core. Leo turned. Floating beside him was a strange figure made of energy, humanoid, but see-through, like a ghost made of lightning. Leo recognized it. You were the guardian of the beacon. The figure nodded. Yes, you carried the signal once. Now, you must choose. Hide again, or awaken the path for others. Leo stared at the gate. If I open the portal, they'll follow, right? Yes, the guardian said. But so will your allies. Many still sleep, waiting for a sign. You are the sign. Leo reached out. The gate pulsed. Rings spun faster. A glowing symbol appeared in the air, hovering between his hands. He spoke one word, without knowing why. Awaken. Back on Earth. The sky split open above the pool. Max shielded his eyes. A swirling beam of energy erupted from the center of the water. The aliens chanted softly in their language. Naira stood at the edge, watching carefully. Suddenly, a crash echoed down the hallway. The door exploded. Black armored figures poured in. Their eyes glowed red, their weapons pulsed with dark light. One of them pointed at the pool. Destroy it. End the signal. Naira pulled a glowing weapon from her belt. Not today. She leaped into action, flipping over the first attacker and blasting him backward. The aliens joined in, using waves of energy to push the invaders back. Max ducked under a bench. Why do these sci-fi stories never mention how scary it is in real life? More Null Order soldiers entered, firing into the light. But something changed. The light from the pool shot upward. And from it, others stepped out. Figures in silver armor, glowing skin, weapons of crystal and flame. Allies. They had heard the call. Inside the core gate, Leo stood at the center, surrounded by light and memory. He saw glimpses of other worlds, planets with cities in the sky, oceans that talked, forests made of sound. He saw other people, humans, across the stars. Scientists, explorers, refugees, waiting for a way home. Leo pressed his hand to the final symbol. The core gate flared, then unlocked, sending a burst of power back through the portal to Earth. On Earth, the Null Order soldiers stopped. They looked around, sensing something. Then came the sound. A horn. Deep, ancient, loud. From the sky descended massive ships with golden hulls and glowing wings. The Galactic Alliance had returned. The Null Order soldiers screamed and vanished in shadows. Max stood, shaking. Okay. Now this is awesome. Leo reappeared from the portal, eyes shining like the stars themselves. He looked at Naira. It's open. The path is lit. She smiled, eyes wet with emotion. You did it. You brought them back." Leo looked at the sky, where ships and stars now danced together. And he whispered, "This time, I'm not late. Battle for Earth." Above Earth, the sky was no longer dark. Dozens of Galactic Alliance ships, sleek, glowing, shaped like wings and blades, hovered in orbit. They pulsed with power, surrounding the planet like protectors from an ancient time. Lights blinked across their hulls, as if the stars themselves had returned to stand beside Earth. But the threat had not vanished. From the torn edge of space, the Null Order's mothership loomed. It was massive, black as a void, with sharp edges that looked like they could slice through time itself. Its surface crawled with red veins of energy. It didn't fly. It glided like a ghost with purpose. Inside, creatures snarled and prepared. Their leader, known only as the Shade, stood at the front of the command bridge. His face was hidden behind a smooth, mirror-like mask. His voice sounded like dry leaves in a storm. He awakened the gate. He called the old ones. They will come, and we will burn them with his world. With a wave of his hand, hundreds of dropships launched from the mothership. Destination: Earth. On the ground, inside the pool facility. Leo stood among the wreckage. The once pristine pool area was shattered. Tiles cracked, walls scorched. Steam floated in the air, mixing with the electric glow of the active portal. But the fight wasn't over. "Leo," Max shouted from behind a collapsed bench. "We've got company." More Null Order troopers crashed through the windows. Their dark armor absorbed light. Their weapons pulsed with red fire. They were silent, efficient, deadly. Naira jumped between them and Leo, firing a blast of white energy from her palm. One soldier flew backward, crashing into a wall. The others advanced without fear. Leo stepped forward. He didn't feel afraid anymore. His hand reached for the glowing pedestal, and instantly, armor formed around him. Light wrapping around his chest, shoulders, legs. It wasn't bulky. It felt like it belonged. The signal had chosen him. "Max, stay back," Leo said, his voice calmer than ever. Max peered out. "Staying back is all I'm good at right now." Leo raised his hand, and light burst forward in a wide beam, knocking two troopers into the pool. The water reacted, glowing brighter, rejecting them like oil and fire. From the center of the portal, reinforcements arrived. More Galactic Alliance fighters, human and alien alike. Some wore silver, others gold. They carried staffs, swords of light, and weapons that sang. Leo recognized one of them, a tall, four-armed warrior with green crystal skin. "Kiro," Leo shouted. The warrior grinned. "The signal lives, and so do you, brother." They clasped arms in reunion, then turned to face the enemy together. Meanwhile, across the city, the dropships began to land. They targeted power stations, communication towers, and strategic points. Civilians screamed and ran for cover. Earth's military scrambled jets, but their weapons barely scratched the Null Order ships. One general barked into a headset, "What are these things? Where are they coming from?" Then, the sky flashed. Galactic Alliance ships descended, like angels in flame. They blasted the dropships mid-air, caught civilians with tractor beams, shielding them, saving them. The humans watched in shock as silver warriors fought black armored troopers in the streets. It was like a sci-fi movie come to life. And at the center of it all was Leo. Back at the facility, the battle rage. Leo fought alongside Kiro and Naira. Each time a Null trooper approached, the signal inside him pulsed, guiding his hand, lighting the way. He wasn't fighting with fear. He was fighting with memory. Because he remembered now. He remembered the mission. He remembered the oath. He remembered who he was. Not a janitor. A guardian of the gate. A warrior not with muscles, but with light, with code, with courage. Then the lights flickered, and everything grew quiet. The pool's glow dimmed. Leo turned. "Something's wrong," The sky above them tore open again, and the shade arrived. The Null Order's leader descended slowly into the ruined facility. His presence made the air grow cold. His feet didn't touch the ground. His mask reflected everything and nothing. His cloak moved like smoke. Everyone froze. Even the strongest Alliance warriors backed away. Only Leo stood firm. The shade spoke without moving his mouth. His voice echoed in their minds. "You are still broken, L30. Still late. Still weak." Leo's hand tightened around the key in his palm. "Maybe, but I remember now." The shade raised a hand. "Then remember this." He struck. A wave of black energy rushed forward like a tsunami. Leo raised both hands. A dome of gold light formed instantly, blocking the blast, but it cracked under pressure. Naira grabbed Leo's arm. "You can't beat him alone." "I'm not alone," Leo said. He reached out his hand. And Max, yes, Max, his tech friend, tossed him a device he didn't even realize he had. The backup beacon. Leo slammed it into the ground. Suddenly, all across Earth, gates opened. More reinforcements arrived. Ships, fighters, peacekeepers, species Leo didn't even recognize, responding to the signal. Earth had become a battlefield, but not just for war. For hope. The shade hissed. "You've lit the fire, but you won't survive the flame." Leo smiled. "Maybe not, but I'm not here to survive. I'm here to stop you." He charged, light bursting from his armor, gold and white like a star being born. The shade screamed, and the final battle began. The final signal. The battle between light and darkness had reached its peak. Above Earth, the sky no longer held stars. It held ships, hundreds of them, from every edge of the galaxy. Some shone like diamonds, others moved like living creatures. Each one had answered the signal. They came to protect the last living gatekeeper. They came for Leo. On the ground, the ruins of the fitness center were now a war zone. The pool had become a crater of glowing light. Alien energy flowed like rivers across the broken tiles. Strange plants had grown from the cracks, seeds awakened by the portal, pulsing with life from other worlds. But even with reinforcements, Earth was not safe. The shade still stood, taller than any being around him. His body was now covered in thick shadows that reached like tentacles, striking soldiers and melting weapons. His power was growing. He had one goal: destroy the signal, kill the gatekeeper. Leo stood his ground, the armor of light still glowing on his chest. His hair floated slightly, lifted by the energy running through his body. His hand shook, not from fear, but from the pressure of holding back a cosmic storm. Naira, wounded but alive, crouched nearby. Max hid behind a broken bench, typing on a salvaged alien device, trying to send one last message through Earth's satellites. "Help us hold the line." Leo stared at the shade, his voice steady. "You tried to erase me. You erased many. But I remember now." The shade's voice was cold. "Memories are dust. Power is truth." Leo raised his hand. "Then let's speak truth." The final signal. Leo activated the core within the signal key, his palm glowing brighter than ever. Lines of ancient language lit up across his armor. Symbols hovered in the air, dancing, rearranging themselves. One by one, planetary gates across the galaxy opened. Allies, long forgotten, stepped forward. Old rebel factions, silent protector species, lost colonies, even some redeemed Null Order defectors. They answered the signal. They arrived on Earth not just to fight, but to protect something more. The idea that memory matters, that truth matters, that humanity matters. The final battle begins. The shade moved like a black wave. His limbs twisted into blades. His voice became thunder. He struck at Leo, but the light around the gatekeeper absorbed the blow. The ground cracked. The air shattered like glass. Thunder exploded. Leo fought back. not with fists, not with lasers, but with the full power of his restored memory. He remembered the names of every fallen friend, every world lost, every promise made. That energy became a force, a field of light that surrounded the battlefield and burned the shadows away. The shade screamed. His mask cracked. "Why won't you fall?" Leo's voice was quiet. "Because I finally stood up." Max's moment. Meanwhile, Max, sweaty, shaking, and still unsure if he was dreaming, found a way to connect Earth's broadcast systems to the galactic network. He hit the button. Suddenly, across the entire planet, screens lit up. Every human on Earth saw the sky burning with alien ships. And then they saw Leo, standing in light, fighting darkness, protecting Earth. He wasn't a superhero. He wasn't perfect. He was one of them. And he chose to protect them. The turning point. The shade was weakening. His armor cracked. The shadows peeled away. Leo raised the key one last time. A beam of golden white energy burst into the sky. It didn't just strike the shade. It struck memory itself. All across the galaxy, planets lit up. Ancient archives reopened. Species remembered who they were. Histories returned. Lost songs were sung again. Entire worlds healed in seconds. The signal had completed its purpose. The galaxy was no longer asleep. The gate was no longer closed. The shade fell to his knees. Smoke poured from his chest. He looked up, face half burned, and asked, "Was I ever right?" Leo walked forward. "You were lost, but I chose to be found." Then, gently, he placed the signal key to the shade's heart. A soft flash, and the shade dissolved, not in pain, but in peace. Aftermath. 1 week later, the sky above Earth returned to blue. The Galactic Alliance helped rebuild. Strange machines floated over cities, fixing roads, healing the sick, even growing trees faster than ever before. Leo became a symbol, not a soldier, not a leader, a reminder that anyone, even a janitor, can carry the light. Max was offered a place in the Galactic Tech Academy. He accepted. Naira returned to the stars, but not before hugging Leo tightly and saying, "You'll always be more than Earth." And Leo, he stayed. For now, he stood one evening by the now peaceful pool, staring at the stars. The key rested in his palm, now dark, silent, but still warm. A child approached, pointing up. "Is it true? You saved us." Leo smiled softly. "No, we saved each other." The stars blinked in approval. Far away, on another world, a gate lit up again. The galaxy was awake, and the signal was eternal.